Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Soheb and you are watching Wrestling Fact.
Top 10 WWE awesome moments that lead to nothing. WWE has offered fans many awesome moments, and sometimes these moments lead to nothing. WWE didn't follow through after these great moments. Whenever a major moments take place in wrestling, it has the potential to give down in the history books, become memorable with fans forever. There are plenty of them that take place each year, but at the same time there are often moments where WWE will tease sometimes only to never follow through on it. Number 10. Dolph Ziggler is the sole Survivor Series 2014. In 2014, the Authority was bright, toppling down for a moment due to the debut of Sting. They competed in the main event against Team Cena vs Team traditional Survivor Series match, and it was Dolph Ziggler who ended up being the last man. Sting helped him get the win, but it was major moments of the show of fans wanted to see what would be next for Ziggler, hoping he would join a major storyline from his. However, that never happened, and he just ended up fading back into the background, which was missed up opportunity. Number 9. The Rock and the Triple H stayed on WrestleMania 31. At WrestleMania 31, WWE decided to plant the seeds for a future match between Triple H and The Rock. They had a segment together in the ring which led to Ronda Rousey's first appearance in WWE, while the company made that moment work by having Ronda face the game and Stephanie McMahon. Years later, the same cannot be said for the two legends. WWE would tease this again month later on SmackDown. People wanted to see the match, and the fact that the company created two great moments to tease it led to frustration when WWE never ended up capitalize on it. Number 8. Cesaro wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal WrestleMania 30. The first ever Andre the Giant memorable Battle Royal was built up as a big deal. While it isn't important now, originally it was something that WWE pushed heavily. The rare Cesaro being the first winner was seen as a big deal in the eyes of the fans. The Swiss Cyborg lifting Big Show out of the ring was an iconic moment from that show, and the fans went crazy for him when it happened. The audience proved they wanted more from Cesaro, but the company failed to capitalize on that momentum. Number 7. Mr. Kennedy becomes Mr. Money in the Bank WrestleMania 23. Another awesome WrestleMania moment that WWE failed to follow through on was when Mr. Kennedy became the Money in the Bank winner. Fans were excited about the prospect of him entering the main event since he had all the tools to do so. However, due to an injury, the company decided to take the briefcase of him in the storyline. He lost it to Edge, but the decision never made sense due to the fact he had a year to cash it in. The company rushed the situation and ended up costing itself a future headline. It's number 6. Kofi Kingston destroys Randy Orton. Raw 16 November 2009. 2009 was an awesome year for Kofi Kingston, who stepped up and proved he was going to be a big star. His rivalry with Randy Orton was brilliant, and when WWE was in Madison Square Garden, he got a hug moment to prove himself. Kofi saved Rowdy Piper from a punt kick, and he brawled with the Viper all over the arena before putting him through a table near the fence. It was an epic moment, but despite a brief storyline with Orton, WWE didn't push Kofi, and he ended up falling back into the spot. Had been a in beforehand. Number 5. Zack Ryder becomes Intercontinental Champion WrestleMania 32. The ladder match at WrestleMania 32 was a brilliant one and it featured a lots of great talent. Zack Ryder was part of that, and while he was a good wrestler, nobody accepted him to end up winning, which is what made this moment so awesome. Seeing him lift the belt and hearing the crowd erupt showcased it was the right call. But ultimately this was just a moment. Ryder dropped the title the next night on Raw to The Miz, creating a very forgettable run as champion, which was a missed opportunity. Number 4. Kairi Sen wins the Mae Young Classic 2017. The first ever Mae Young Classic was a brilliant tournament that built up perfectly. It has great matches and developed a lot of talent, with Kairi Sen being big winner. It was a hug opportunity and amazing situation for the hair to be in. Rather than pushing her to the top immediately, she ended up having to start all over again with the NXT. Shane should have become a bigger deal quicker, because in the end WWE did not get the most out of her ability. Number 3. Pete Dunne and William Regal face off United Kingdom Championship Tournament Night 1 2017. Pete Dunne might not have won the originally United Kingdom Championship Tournament, but he was the man everyone was talking about when it was over. That's because he decided to jump his opponent at the end of the first night, giving himself an advantage. This enforced William Regal, and it led to have tense moment between the two of them. It was cool because fans, it might have led to William Regal getting back in the ring. Over the years they had several other teases, but it was never nothing more than that. Number 2. Braun Strowman destroys Triple H Survivor Series 2017. The men's Survivor Series match at the 2017 PPV was a fun one, but it had a confusing ending that saw Braun Strowman destroys Triple H, which most people enjoyed. It was cool to see the big names from different eras interfering like that. Most people presumed a single match was coming down the line between them, but instead it was just forgotten about. Fans wanted them to feud, and it would have been a big moment, but the company just dropped it. Number 1. Triple H helps Kevin Owens become Universal Champion. Raw 29 August 2016. It has always been well known that Triple H has a soft spot for Kevin Owens. He is somebody that the game has pushed behind the scenes, and on Raw in 2016 he got in the ring and helped Kevin become the Universal Champion. It was a cool moment as KO winning the gold was great to see. Fans through that fun angle was about to take place featuring the two of them, but instead it wasn't followed up on with WWE just forgetting the hug impact that Triple H had on the situation.